All right, so what's your name?
My name is Bianca for years.
Bianca. How old are you?
I'll be 45 at the end of this month.
Where are you from originally?
Phoenix, Arizona.
What's going on with you? Are you homeless or what?
Homeless. I've been chronically homeless since 2015. I used to live in the zone. They claim to help people, do nothing but kill dreams. I mean, for the most part, they help for a little bit. I want to say the most help that I got from them was when we lived in the quarantine COVID lots. I think that was the best solution for the people who were living around Cass, because it was it wasn't a secluded, but it was a place where homeless people didn't have to move around so much with all their junk, which is what people fear them always carrying along. It was a spot where we didn't have to worry about people degrading us and treating us something different other than what we were, human beings, because everybody there was equal. And of course, like everything else in life comes and goes, COVID came and went, and the lots were closed. Funding was cut, and the COVID lots closed. They put us all back out on the streets. Okay, at that time, we were still allowed to set up camps and tents over around the Cass area, and but that was shortly lived because they started to protest against that again, and then they ultimately closed down the zone completely, where we weren't allowed to put up tents nowhere. After that happened, they decided to come up with their solution to that was to come up with a hotel program, which is a temporary hotel program, which would get you to the next step, which would obviously ultimately be housing. They set up this contract. This contract, you read it word for word, and if you don't read it word for word, they try to screw you out of everything and change the stipulations as they go. I signed the contract, but like I said, word for word, I read every bit of it. I was over at the Rio facility, which is 24th Street University at the time. It was me, my old man, and my dog. We were there for about 5 months. We were being harassed from the day that we got there. From the day we got there, also the same way that it happened in the lots. When we were in the lots, I was the third person checked in those lots, and the last person checked out. They closed the gate behind me, told me, "I'm sorry, you have to go back to the streets. We have nothing else to offer you." So pretty much they kicked us out of the lots and pushed us back out on the street. At that hotel, we were there for, like I said, 5 months. They were nitpicking the whole time we were there. The first incident that we had with them, they said that the hallway smelled like, so they associated with our room. And for whatever reasons, they never had any reason to associate it with our specific room. If the hallway smelled like, how come they weren't violating the hallways as a collective unit? They were just pretty much picking on me and my old man. So I figured, let's split us up into our individual hotel rooms so they can see who's the one that's messing up the most, right? Because I'm gonna be honest, we smoked those, but not enough to where it messes up in our responsibilities. But so they had to split up, and the moment they split us up, which is I think is exactly what they wanted to do, was to split us up so we wouldn't be as strong as a unit together versus being separated. They started nitpicking. First, they violated me for saying excessive use in my room, but then checked my room. They searched my room, never found nothing. They searched me and my person against my will, against all rules, and found nothing. They said the hallways again smell like, and they found nothing. But they wouldn't go door to door to check on the other rooms to make sure that not only that they were alive from the use, but if it was them using the at all. They never proved anything wrong. I never did anything wrong when it came to it. They put us back out on the streets. At that point in time is when I lost my very first load of all my belongings. And if you've ever been homeless, you know that that's all you have left. Because they take everything from you. They take your heart and soul. When they start throwing the only thing you have left, which is just your belongings. Everything goes with it. Your dignity, self-respect, everything goes along with it. But unfortunately for me, my mom's ashes went with it, and they did nothing to accommodate me emotionally or even physically but they're supposed to be the people that help. I don't know what this interview is going to do, if it can get me or anybody else any kind of help, but if it could just make one little bit of change, it would be enough for me. I found out later that they were doing another sweep at Cass, so I had already gathered a few more things, and I was living at a park at the time, and I heard on the news that they were going to do another sweep, so I went back to Cass so I can get back in on another hotel that worked. So I got in another hotel room, but they put us way out on Greenway where we didn't know nobody, nothing at all. So immediately me and my dude, we tried to find a job so we could keep occupied. But because when we were out doing this job search, that they said that now is a requirement after we signed this contract from the beginning, now this new contract is a requirement to have a job. So we had immediately tried to find a job when we were out there. We were there all of 5 months. I finished out the program, did a 6-month program there, but just before his 6-month period came up, they kicked him all the way out because they said that we were gone too long doing job search, which is what I didn't understand. They asked us to go do the job search, but then told us that we were gone one too many days doing the job search. Something's got to give. These people don't do nothing but kill dreams. They don't do nothing but shake up everything that you do have as a plan and do nothing to help you.
So where are you staying at now? You still staying at Cass or?
No, I'm just moving around from here to there. Right now I'm living outside of University Park, which is just down the street from Cass, which they give us hell every single day.
Okay. Because I know they started getting everybody out of those tents out there, huh?
Yeah, they moved they don't let us even sit and talk to a person on the street too long at Cass. You can't even stand and talk to anybody at Cass if you're going from building to building.
Didn't they say they were opening up another shelter here, like down the street on Buckeye?
They did. They said that, but it's still yet to happen. It hasn't happened yet. Like I said, CBI has done nothing, absolutely nothing, to help me and mine. They've done nothing but put roadblocks up in every attempt that we made to progress. I don't know why they have some kind of either personal vendetta or if it's just us as a unit.
So tell me how you ended up homeless in 2015. Like, were you working before that?
I was working. I had my own business, as a matter of fact. I had a piñateria that me and my daughter started.
Okay.
And we started it from just trash, garbage picking.
Yeah.
And my daughter was only 9 at the time, but my ex-husband had a really big issue with spice. And it would make him go on these weird-ass trips. And I wasn't around. I went to drop off the kids in the morning to school, and I went to drop off a proposal for a small business loan at a bank. And it just so happened I didn't answer the phone. The one time that I didn't answer the phone was the one time that I should have. Because from what I understood at the time, his parole officer had already been there that week and said, we're coming back and we're coming back with CPS. And he didn't tell me that part. Otherwise, I would have been long gone with my kids.
How many kids do you have?
I have 4.
Where are they at right now?
With this girl that I grew up with.
Okay.
They're all together.
That's good.
But they're safe. They're safe and they're with somebody that I trust. So that's good for me. And that's how I ended up homeless. I ended up homeless because I was trying to get away from him. After getting my kids taken away, I would beg him to please just give me back my life the way that it was before he had the kids taken away. For him to please help me do everything in our power to try to get our kids back. And he did everything in his power to put up roadblocks as well. He was in and out of prison ever since I met him. Should have took heed to that years ago. And he's still in prison now.
What happened to your piñateria, like
your
business?
That I ended up getting the small business loan, but I returned it immediately because I didn't want to be in debt. I didn't want to be in big time debt and trying to struggle to keep afloat.
Did you have a brick and mortar store, or were you doing it outside?
No, at first it was outside. It was just out of my backyard.
Okay.
And then I rented a space inside of Valencia's on 35th and in Cano.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you already had it going.
Yeah, I had it going for a minute.
Were you making good money there? Or?
Yeah, I was, and it was all 100% profit only because everything was made from trash.
Yeah.
And since I've been homeless, I had the opportunity to come up on a bunch of stuff like homeless people usually do. As you can see, you know, we always come up on different things. I came up on a camp after a shooting happened, and there were 7 shopping carts there with bike parts. And I knew nothing about bikes. I didn't even know how to ride a bike till I was 35. And I knew that this meant money when I saw these 7 shopping carts, so I didn't want to leave them, so I hauled them around with me for whatever length of time I had to. And slowly but surely I started learning how to put together and build bikes. How do you learn how to fix something? You break it, right? So you can only break a bike so many times. And from those 7 shopping carts, I went from 19th Avenue in Glendale all the way up to 17, pulling these shopping carts by myself, and I ended up on 7th Street in Oak. That the end result was 7th Street in Oak. I fell asleep there, and the pastor came out from the church that used to be there, Bible Baptist Church. And he came out and said, "Hey, you want a warm meal, girl?" And he invited me to come into the church and told me that I could sleep at the church. But only after hauling those 7 shopping carts for about a month and a half it took me to pull them all the way from 19th Avenue in Glendale to 7th Street in Oak by myself. When I got there, it was just heaven sent. It was all something that was awesome, and an opportunity given to me by a pastor at that church at the time. He allowed me to learn how to work my trade from the church, and he helped me get an LLC license. This was in 2016, the winter of 2016. What was born a few months later, which we called the Pink Sprocket, was born an all-girl operated bike shop and mechanic shop. And it was open from 2016 to 2019 because the church was condemned because it was too old to rebuild on, and pastor had to shut it down and sell the property. So he did. So there went the bike shop, and all the bike parts got scrapped. But this was only after owning and operating my own small all-girl mechanic bike shop for BMX and beach cruisers, and I ran it myself. For a girl who didn't even know how to ride a bike till I was 35, I kind of made shit happen. So that was a lot of fun. And it was, like I said, it was only open for a few years, and then we had to shut it down because the building was condemned and we couldn't rent no more. But it worked out. It worked out for a while, and we were inside those years that we were there doing the bike shop thing. I taught everybody everything that I knew, because the person who I came up on those bike parts from, he teach me nothing about the bikes. He was just an arrogant person who didn't care to teach anything that had to do with his skill or his trade to pay it forward. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that for the life of me, why he couldn't pay it forward by teaching someone his skill that was so good for the type of lifestyle we were living. And everything that I ever learned, everything that I ever taught myself, I taught it to someone else and paid it forward. Unfortunately, the years went by and the bike shop closed. And back to the streets again. This is where we are again. So, other than that, something's on fire. Oh my word.
All right, well, hey man, thank you for sharing your story. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Are you okay if I post it up on my YouTube channel?
You can put it wherever you want, as long as somebody hears it.
And just in case anybody wants to reach out to you with any sort of help or donations, do you have any contact information that you want to share, like an email or anything like that?
I have, it's a 9thing@gmail.com or Bianca Farias at facebook.com. You know, just.
How do you spell it?
It's Bianca, last name Farias, and look me up. I'm there. You'll see it. Now, I have 2 Facebook profiles, but you'll know which one it is when you look at it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.